All right, this is going to be a live stream that's going to talk about Lamar Jackson, the future of the Ravens offense, what type of offense they need to run. It's really, to be honest with you, the title's quite misleading. I'm going to let some film run. I'm going to let some plays run here as the streaming software gets itself aligned, and I just double check one setting. This will be a look at basically, I intentionally left the title blank. Can Lamar Jackson succeed in a blank offense? What we're going to talk about is a spread offense, meaning horizontally spreading the offense by formation, by alignment. So as we get into the plays, at the beginning, each play will have an annotation. I'll kind of skip past that and let you guys see the formation and just let it run. These plays will just be run, to be honest with you, like I said, to get the streaming software aligned. And the premise of this video, to be honest with you, will be asking the question, has Lamar shown enough film succeeding in a spread offense for you to trust that being the path, the next step? In my opinion, he has. Your opinion may differ from mine, to be honest with you. But we're going to look at spread style, generally pass concepts, and we will digress a little bit and talk about some run stuff for about 4 or 5 plays. And I will have to address and talk about some of the tendencies that the Ravens have shown in the past, particularly the past 2 years, that have kind of held the offense back. And when you say that it's held the offense back, it's clearly held back Lamar as well. Good morning, guys. If you've got audio, please let me know. Looks like I got a little bit of a delay. Malik, good morning. Camru, good morning. Inside Squared Circle, good morning. A little bit late getting started. I'm going to let these plays run for a moment here while I just speak on the intro, because when I do a live stream, there's usually at least 1,000 rewatches. So I like to at least set it up so if someone rewatches it later when it's not live, they have an idea of what's going down. I don't just jump into the film, even though I am letting the film run now. Malik, thank you for letting me know. I agree, Malik, about 11 and 12 personnel. Totally agree. Jordan, good morning. Jay Will, what's up? Good morning. So I'll intro this a second time. This is going to be a look at spread offenses and some film that Lamar has shown, even dating back to, in this case, 2019, I believe, running spread formations. But a spread offense is really more than just the formation, to be honest with you. It's about spreading the ball among multiple guys. And when I say multiple guys, I mean multiple running backs, multiple tight ends, multiple receivers. In my opinion, we have done some stuff out of spread formations and spread looks in the past 2-3 years, even 2019, but we haven't always spread the ball around. I think the talent is dispersed now with the addition of likely Bateman last year, who hopefully is healthy next year from the beginning. Along with Andrews and whoever we draft, the talent will be dispersed enough such that I think you can be you can spread the ball to multiple guys, and part of that is designed plays, and that'll be something that I talk about here in a moment. Designed plays that get the ball to a certain playmaker against a certain look, and that to me was one of the real weaknesses of the offense the last 2 or 3 years, was not designing plays that are easy completions. And most other quarterbacks get those. I would say, this is just a general observation. I may be off here a little bit, to be honest with you. I would say at least 4 or 5 passes per game for certain quarterbacks are designed plays where they looked at the defensive structure on film and then were able to figure out, okay, we know they're going to be in this coverage against this formation, and we can run this concept to get this guy open. Boom. Easy completion, 8 yards. To me, it didn't seem like the Ravens game planned that specifically. And I'm sure there are some examples where they did. I thought generally last week against the Bengals, they did a nice job on offense between the 20s. I mean, we had 360 yards of offense, I think, and 23 first downs. But in any case, we're talking about, what can Lamar do? So I'm going to show film. I think I've got, to be honest with you, I think I've got 34 plays queued up. And so I don't think that's a small sample size, even though he's, played 4 years at this point. 5, I guess, actually. Sorry, I misspoke. The reason why I picked these 34 plays, it's not like I had to look real long, to be honest with you guys. I didn't have to go search for, oh, let me find the only 34 plays out of spread looks where Lamar succeeded. I had probably another 30 plays saved, and I just cut it down just so this was something manageable in the 45-minute range or so for the live stream. So I'm going to get back to the front play. Going to start to talk about some of the formations, some of the reads. This one's obviously from 2021 against the Chiefs, leading up to the 4th-and-1 decision. Absolutely, Jeremiah. I see some of the comments. I'll try to track them here in a moment. Jeremiah, the check down and running back pass game was lacking. Totally agree. All right, if you're seeing the front pick, there's nothing wrong. I'm just moving back to the first play. And what I would like to do is go through some of the plays, just make some general observations. These are mostly plays that, to be honest with you, I've already talked about and multiple other content creators have talked about as well. I wanted to put something like this out on like Wednesday or Thursday night. Didn't have the opportunity at all. So was able to take a couple hours and put these plays together in a certain order last night. And didn't really design the audio of what I was going to say. So if it meanders, you can feel free to tell me. But I think that these are things Lamar has done on film. These are things he can do repeatedly. I'm not really worried about the accuracy, to be honest with you. I mean, you can talk about accuracy if you want, guys. No problem. I'm not really worried about it. When there are more designed, more high percentage completions available, he will complete more. There were not enough of those in the last 2 or 3 years. There just weren't. There was significant development of run concepts. I mean, the counter wind-back is one of the coolest damn plays that I've seen in the NFL in a long time. But there weren't enough of this, okay? So this is I believe this is a 3rd down against the Jets in week 1. It might be a 2nd down. This is a designed downfield screen. It's a 2nd down. My apologies. I don't think we get the 1st down, but there weren't enough of these. And here's what I mean. Well, I'm showing it to you right now, Vet Tech. You can either watch it or not. So there weren't enough of these, for real, where you're getting some type of designed play. Now most of the time with a screen, you're going to get a bubble. I actually really like the design of this play. I remember talking about this in a video because we're making it look like an out by Duvernay, but really it's just a downfield screen. You can see that Andrews, and I think that's Bateman, I could be wrong, maybe it's not Bateman, are engaging in the screen. There's not been enough of these. And when I say these, I don't mean this specific play concept. Just anything that is designed to get us back on track. So this is 2nd and long. And now we're going to be operating, I think, from 3rd and 3 on the next play, maybe 3rd and 2. I picked this one specifically because it was Prochet blocking, not Bateman. It is a unique design play. Number one, and number two, it got us back into a manageable 3rd down where you could possibly get pay the bills. What's up, man? Thank you for joining in. Where you could possibly convert into a 1st down as opposed to maybe the next down being 3rd and 10. And in my opinion, this is what Greg Roman and the offensive staff have not done a good job of is some of these designed plays, whatever it might be, that other quarterbacks get a lot of. And I said this early in 2021. Lamar doesn't get those, okay? Is there issues with the passing game at times? Sure, but they're not Lamar. Some of these that I'm showing you are not Lamar issues. Some of them are issues where you have a young guy who's incredibly talented and knocks the crap out of a starting nickel safety in the NFL in Isaiah Likely and ends up in the throwing lane for a ball that, probably is destined for Mark Andrews, who's open against Ahmad Gardner. I think there's enough weapons, especially when the Ravens draft someone, presumably in the first 3 rounds. I know we don't have a second. You can't talk about the Ravens offense next year without talking about the picks. I mean, you got a 1st-round pick and a 3rd-round pick right now. Well, Vet Tech, come back when they do. So if you think they're going to run the same offense next year, 22 personnel, you really don't pay attention. So you really can't talk about what the Ravens are going to do offensively without talking about the draft, to be honest with you. So they're going to be trying to find someone in the draft who can contribute Personally, me, I would look for a taller receiver. I want the bigger guys. They tried to do that last year with the undrafted free agents. Most of the undrafted free agents, except for Slade Bolden, were guys that were like 6'3" or 6'4". I think they're going to have to draft one. Guy like Cedric Williams sticks out to me. Rashee Rice gets a lot of talk on it. He's talented as hell, too. Anyway, one of the things the Ravens do a lot of in the Greg Roman offense the last couple of years is they use Pat Ricard in motion a lot. We don't use receivers in motion a whole lot, to be honest with you. Like, this here allows us to sift out the coverage and understand. Now, the Jets actually switch it here, which is cool. So credit to them, and then credit to Lamar. He is open, he being Demarcus Robinson. But as Robinson's going across, you would think that 30 is going to go with him, but Ahmad Gardner is the outside corner. So as Robinson sets up as the outside receiver, they just switch it and go man here and man there. Lamar takes advantage of it. These are things that, again, we didn't do enough of. Getting the ball out to the guy in space and giving him an opportunity to break a tackle by a high-level guy. Again, you see turning a 2nd and long into a manageable 3rd down. Looks like to me it was going to set up a 3rd and 3 or 3rd and 2. Those things Greg Roman didn't do enough of, in my opinion. Yeah, I like Xavier Hutchinson easy. I haven't watched. I have film saved of him, but I have not watched it, to be honest with you. All right, so spread offenses can be a little bit of a misnomer sometimes because spread offenses use what's called compressed formations. So you see the ball is on the left hash, and Andrews, Likely, and Duvernay are in a bunch alignment, and neither one of them is anywhere near the top of the numbers, whereas Bateman over here to the backside is to the bottom of the numbers. So you have, I'm going to insert an ad here. Hopefully it doesn't, I'm going to insert an ad here. Hopefully it doesn't interrupt you guys. So a compressed formation is a spread, concept. It's just utilizing the compression to then try to get someone open into all of this space. The Ravens didn't do enough of this, if you ask me. Now, having said that, this formation, and this is one of the critiques of Greg Roman's offense that I, totally agree with. There's a lot of takes out there, hot takes that I don't agree with necessarily, but this is one of them. Predictability. Bunch with the back to that side, which I call bunch right A, was like a 95% pass offense, to be honest with you. So what I mean is the diminishing returns. If you line up in this formation in week 1, you might be, now this is 3rd down and we got to match it. We got a preferable matchup. They've got their 2nd corner on Bateman. It looks like Gardner and the nickel are matched up on Andrews and Likely. And then down here we've got Duve on, I forget the guy's name, but this is a guy that a lot of the people that are in this live stream right now, in a preseason live stream, we all identified as someone we should attack, and sure enough, the Ravens did, and they beat him pretty badly, even though there's an obvious pass interference as well as the ball was on its way. My point is, bunch right A is a pass formation, and over the course of the season, usually by week 4 or week 5, you get predictability issues whereby the defense knows what's coming. Week 1, week 2, in my opinion, that's why the last 2 years you've seen the Ravens kind of start hot offensively. That's one of the reasons why they've started hot offensively and then cool down as the season progresses, because their formations are very predictable. And I don't think that the Ravens cannot go to someone who is this predictable over the course of the season. You have to have more balanced formations, even though, on 3rd down, which is these 2 touchdowns to Duvernay were 3rd down, clearly you're going to throw the football. Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, I think all the Ohio State guys are worth a look for real. I see you guys commenting on receivers. I think anyone from Ohio State that Brian Hartline recruits and that goes through that process there and plays and gets on the field and produces should be someone to be looked at. All right, so back to 2019, you still have examples of Lamar working through multiple parts of the progression. So this is for people like, I don't know, I forget the guy's name in here who's trying to get people off task. You have concepts like these where Lamar is able to work through them in 2019 when he has time. I don't give you the end zone angle here so you can't see, but and it's kind of grainy, so my apologies. But in the beginning here, Lamar is either looking off or he's looking at Gus and or the number one receiver. He's got our linebacker going over the top to go with Gus, so he comes off of that. This is 2019, I believe. Seth Roberts didn't play for us in 2020, right? Hayden Hurst didn't play for us in 2020. So then I think he comes back here, which I believe is Andrews. Nothing there. Of course, you have to have time to do this. And then this is Seth Roberts, certainly not a guy who put up huge stats in the NFL nor huge stats with the Ravens. Lamar was able to work back to him. By my count, that was the third or the fourth part of this read. At least the third. 1, 2. I would say it's at least the third, but as far as the concepts that you have with Gus going here, Hurst going there, Andrews possibly sitting this down or taking this all the way across, I think you certainly have 3 parts there. And then this is the fourth guy, but I would also accept if someone said, hey, I think he's only the third part of the read. Yeah, Charles, if you need to issue a warning to someone, go right ahead. Thank you. First of all, Charles, thank you, man. Thank you for doing that, so I can just roll on this, number one. And number two, thank you for always sharing stuff. All right, so bunch right A is a pass formation. It's always been very predictable for the Ravens. It doesn't mean that it hasn't been successful. Lamar makes some of this stuff work. This is probably one of the best throws that I have seen since he's been in the league, period, by anyone. Roll into I always say this. Reminds me of a Major League Baseball shortstop. I don't know if you guys have ever been around anyone who's played a high-level baseball. I've been around a couple of guys that were AAA guys, and they made things look so smooth. Lamar, to me, looks like a Major League shortstop, just moving to his left, dropping that right in there. Unbelievable. So there's plenty of film of Lamar succeeding in a spread offense. What do you got to have? You got to have time. You got to have time. So how does that translate with our current offensive line? Well, we've got a fantastic pass protection left tackle. We know that. I think that pass pro-wise, the rest of our guys, absent Zeitler, seem to be better at run blocking. Although, to be honest with you, I thought Morgan Moses was wildly inconsistent this year. I thought there was times where he was very, very effective in the zone scheme, and then I thought there were times where the very next week he looked lost, and I don't know why that is. I mean, I don't know what you want to see. I don't know why you're in here. If you want to, if you don't think the film matters, then don't watch it, dude. I mean, frankly, I don't care what you think. I just don't. Yeah, I agree, Jeremiah. Crazy dime. Absolutely crazy. And this was 2020, I believe. All right, so moving this a little bit away from Lamar and passing and moving through progressions, you guys may know that one of the coverages I think it's very difficult to play against Lamar is man free. Okay, I think that it's a dangerous coverage to play against Lamar because his ability to scramble, number one, and a 4-man rush, to me, just doesn't work with man free. You got to bring 5. All right, but you can run the ball out of these spread alignments. Now, Ricard is on the field here. All right. One of the things that's just has to happen next year, period, other people have to be trusted to do this. And depending on who the offensive coordinator is, A, Ricard might not get on the field. B, he might not even be on the team. You have tight ends, multiple tight ends now who can do this. Now, a couple of other things that we do with Ricard, it would be challenging. It would be challenging for Likely or Andrews or Kolar to do those things. But that's where the league is going. And I think to be honest with you, that's where the Ravens kind of have to go, is to be able to run the ball out of some spread shotgun formations without running toward Ricard all the time like we are in this case. Again, very predictable. You look at the Bengals wildcard game, we ran away from Ricard twice. And yeah, I agree, Easy. I mean, Nick Boyle could when he was healthy. We ran away from Ricard twice, and it actually made me upset because I was like, why did we wait so long to do this? So not only, in my opinion, do we have to get away from the over-reliance on running to Pat Ricard's side. I agree, Jeremiah. I love him. Great player. But we need to use him less and less predictably. Totally agree. Good point. Thank you, Inside and Charles, for handling that. Appreciate it. Yeah, Keith, I don't know what people are, I don't know who's talking about that or why they care. Like, it's usually small-minded people that have to do a direct comparison and can't sit through and actually look at the film and say, oh, wow, this is actually 6 or 8 plays in a row here that show what he can do. Yeah, I think you're right, Manberg. He could be gone. All right, one of the other limiting factors, and I've kind of mentioned this multiple times, that I think they've got to get away from is the pistol. It is limiting in and of itself. I'm not saying it's not effective at times, but when we have Ricard set up to either side in the pistol, we are generally, tracking that, Yolanda, tracking that, yeah. We are generally either running, to this side if Ricard stays here, or if he motions away, we're running to the side where he motions. There weren't enough times where we ran the ball behind or away from that motion. That will have to change under the next offensive staff or offensive coordinator. And just so you know, this right here is something that the Bengals did. It's something that the Bills did. It's something that the Titans did in the playoffs in 2019 or 2020, depending on however you want to refer to it. The playoffs after the 2019 season. Watch what they do when Ricard motions away. I've talked about this a couple of times in other videos. See this nickel defender, 33? He's lined up over Andrews. Now, you may say he's going to blitz anyway, coach. It's possible. But watch what happens when we run counter away from him. If Lamar is reading this, if he's reading it, who the hell does he read? If he reads this guy right here, it's a keep read. I'm talking about that DN number 94. It's a keep read. Well, look, 33 is free and clean to go attack Lamar in the backfield. Now, he may miss the tackle. There's certainly no doubt. But it's at least a way to get an unblocked defender to the point of attack. Why can they do this? Because of how limiting the pistol is and how limiting it is with Ricard in terms of us being predictable. If Lamar is reading this guy right here, then it's a give read, which he does give it. And guess what happens? 94 tackles him from behind. My point is, when we're in the pistol, we can't move the running back. If we're motioning someone, let's put it that way. I don't know, Easy. Good question. I mean, I don't know. I just hope someone there looks at the film in a real detailed fashion, someone who's way smarter than I am, and can talk about how limiting the pistol can be. All right, so another thing to talk about with the pistol is predictability. We were very predictable formation-wise in the pistol. Now, Pat Ricard's not on the field here. This is 13 personnel. So let's get this straight. This is a successful play. And we were very successful running stretch to our right against this Bengals team. I think Morgan Moses is excellent on outside zone. I think it's one of the things he's best at. And him and Oliver do a great job here. Likely goes out and gets, I think this is Mike Hilton here. So, yes, these are successful plays. My point, though, is I'm going to go back to the data that I showed you in the text box. The first 5 times we lined up in trips pistol against the Bengals in the playoffs, the first 5 times, we ran stretch 4 times to the trip side. And the one time we didn't, we ran counter wind back to the trip side. So when I talk about diminishing returns, the first, second, third time we show that, maybe it's successful. Maybe we gain a lot of yards. But as we move further into the game and you've shown it to the defense multiple times, you've got to have a counter to it. And like someone just mentioned there, you got to run the boot. Now, I'm going to show the boot out of the pistol. It's never been as successful out of the pistol as it is under center. So therein lies the issue for me. Even though they're professional football players and they have all day long to, watch film, go to practice, go to meetings, in my opinion, you cannot run the pistol, the regular shotgun, and under center. You can't do all 3 effectively. In my opinion, you got to pick 2. And I think the teams that do it right are the teams that are under center and in the shotgun. Those 2. And they kind of eschew the pistol completely. Greg Roman's run game was predicated on the pistol. And I think that a lot of people go at Greg Roman for, being predictable, like I talk about, for not adjusting, like I talk about a lot. But really what they're really criticizing is how limiting the pistol formation is. Over time, I don't think there's enough depth to the pistol. I never have. Now, we're still predictable when we're not in the pistol, to be honest with you. This is trips against Tampa Bay. So you've got 3 receivers here. and the back is on this side, where do you think we're going to run the ball? We're going to run the ball to the trips. Greg Roman seemed to be one of those guys that's going to run the ball to the side that has the most receivers. So if it's a 3-by-1 formation, he generally is going to run the ball to the 3-by-1 side. There weren't enough runs back here to the weak side. Now, you can say the defense has numbers back there. Yeah, they do. They absolutely do. But I would say that it needs to happen. The Titans do it. The Browns do it. The teams that have an effective running game, high-level running backs, they run to the backside. They run to the single receiver side more often than we would think. Jeremiah, the boot's available there. I'm actually going to show a play in a minute that displays that. But the amount of time that the defense is put in conflict is shorter than under center. That's the limiting factor of the pistol there. The ball isn't hidden as long. I don't know if it's the next play. We'll see. Yeah, it's this one, Jeremiah, so good timing. All right, so we have run the boot from the pistol, but not that often, to be honest with you. Yeah, I'll be honest with you, just another fan. I'm not here to talk about the salary stuff. Like, to be honest with you, that's not what I do. That's not what is my focus. So, I mean, not discounting what you're saying. That's not going to be addressed by me. And to be honest with you, I don't care to see the chat go off on that tangent for real. I mean, people can talk about what they want, but that's not the point of this for me. All right, so pistol bootleg. Watch what Hubbard does. Now, there's a lot of things to talk about here about why he's doing this. The Ravens in this game when we were running stretch, we were taking the backside tackle, whether it was Ronnie Stanley or Morgan Moses, and we were running him flat down the line. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to create a cutback. So we're blocking with the guard, we're blocking the backside D tackle. That's just this guy right here. So Zeitler is going to engage him and stay on him. Moses is going to run down the line, and he's going to look to wall something off to basically give JK the option to bend this thing back, all right? People talk about bang it, bounce it, bend it, all those things. You're generally really only talking about two options in the stretch. It's a little bit over-explained, to be honest with you. People talk about you can do all three. This, to me, is trying to set up the bend it back. But look at Hubbard. Hubbard's just running with this because this happened later in the game. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I think this play is a third quarter play. So we've already done this with the tackle 4 times to this point. So when Hubbard sees that, he's gone. My point is there needs to be more boot action. I think what Jeremiah was talking about. There needs to be more boot action the other way to give this guy something to hold on to. We don't run the boot enough. Now, Jeremiah and I might disagree here, but I don't think that the pistol offers you as much time to put the defense in conflict in terms of the boot. In my opinion, it's more effective under center. I'm not saying that it cannot be effective here at all, but there's just less time that the defense is put in conflict. I'm going to run this back a couple of times. There's just less time that the defense is put in conflict here when you're in the pistol. So when I say the pistol is a limiting factor, I'm talking about the side we run to, number one. Number two, I'm talking about the lack of the boot game. Well, and I think the lack of the boot game there's two parts to it. Is we didn't call it enough. So Jeremiah, you're absolutely right there. We didn't call it enough. We needed to call it more to hold that backside D end. Number one. Number two, in my opinion, it doesn't get these second level guys moving side to side for as long as it would if we did it under center. Hopefully that makes sense. So, yeah, if someone comes in and we're under center and we're running boot stuff and we're running stretch stuff, fantastic. Fantastic. I would be all for it. All right, so again, talking about the run game, we know that Lamar can run the ball, but again, I'm not right here to talk about the contract situation, but the moment you pay somebody $40 or $45 or $50 million, you're probably doing less of this stuff until it's winning time. Because I don't think Lamar cares, to be honest with you. I don't think he really cares if it's 3rd and 2 to win the game in the fourth quarter, and this is the best play to win the game. I think he'll run it. Both, Jordan, I think both, if executed correctly, So good question. Right, Jeremiah, but we didn't run it enough, which was your point, originally. We didn't run the boot enough in the first place. So since we didn't run it enough, the DN didn't have to respect it. You know what I mean? I mean, we can run the ball without Ricard. I've shown you a couple. We still have a little bit of predictability when the tight end and the running back are on the same side, and that tight end is this close here. It's generally going to be QB counter or QB power read. This is just one of the things that I've noticed, and is unfortunate, but it's true. So you can run the ball out of the spread. There's absolutely no reason why you can't. Look at all the college teams who run the hell out of the spread. In my opinion, though, it kind of relies on the quarterback being a little bit of a run threat, which we know we have. But I wonder how much. I wonder how much they actually want to do that. All right, so this is one of the more interesting plays for me. This is going to set up the fourth down conversion, QB power against the Chiefs that won the game on fourth down. I like the play before, and I'm going to pull it back here in a minute, but I'm going to let you guys see the fourth down play. I like this play. This one to me is huge, and this is people said this before the season, and they weren't wrong, but there was nothing that I could do about it, so there was really no reason for me to belabor the point. The more Lamar and the receivers work on some of these things, we absolutely need to keep QB counter easy, right? QB power read. The more we execute some of these concepts in high-pressure situations, the better off we'll be. This is a high-pressure situation. Guys, I think this is like 1:20 left in the game. I could be wrong. Maybe it's 1:30. And it's third and long. And you got Sammy Watkins down here running this little shake in route kind of. Lamar finds him. Clutch throw, if you ask me. That is like evidence A I would give people who are like, Lamar is not accurate. Lamar can't do this. Lamar can't do that. This is third and long. We have to get the first down in order to keep Mahomes from getting on the field. And he puts the football right where it needs to be. Puts us in position to convert the fourth down. In my opinion, like that is one of those plays right there that you should point to if you're a Ravens fan. Now, it's not a well-known play. It's not a famous play. It's a clutch play, though. It's just as clutch as this one. I know this one's clinched the game, but that third down really, to me, gave us the opportunity to go for it and finish this game. I said it last year. I didn't say it a lot during the season. In my opinion, Lamar, in terms of running, Lamar's a closer. He's not a starting pitcher in terms of being a runner. I think he's a closer. And I think the Ravens are kind of wrong for using. I think of the New England game, to be honest with you, where he was used as a runner more so later in the game as things developed, and I think that allows him to. He's apparently got a crazy cardio. He has to. I remember the Vikings game in 2021. I think he threw for 3 touchdowns, threw 2 interceptions, threw I believe 42 passes. But if someone wants to check me, go right ahead. It might have been 38, and he also carried the ball. He also had 21 carries or something like that. That's insane amount of usage. So let's talk about. I am going to talk about some interceptions at the end. I'm about 2/3 of the way through here. We're clearly focused too much on Andrews at times. It's just true. I mean, we have to admit that. There are times where we have complementary routes open. Now, this is third down, so I understand what people are going to say. There are times where we have complementary routes open, and we've just got to move past this faster. That's just reality. Like, I'm not going to couch my statements with that. That's just reality. There's times where we are stuck on this read for too long. We're waiting for him to get open when he's not, when we're initially on the read. It's not that Lamar's not processing it. He is processing it. He's waiting for Andrews to get open even when he's not. In my opinion, this is a perfect situation to attack what looks like a cover 2 to that top side, or some variation of a cover 2 where you have a flat corner who's inside waiting to jump at Likely. I would still say throw the damn ball to Likely with all this space up here to try to utilize it. Likely's a handful. I think there are multiple situations this year where Huntley and Lamar and even Anthony Brown in the 1.5 games that he played were too focused on Andrews. And, actually, Anthony Brown, that one game he played, Mark Andrews didn't play. In my opinion, there's times where we're too focused on Andrews. Now, look, I understand it.
It's good reason for it sometimes, right? Because even in a game like this against Tampa Bay, where I think he was injured coming in and left the game, I think second quarter, maybe I'm wrong. It's understandable why you would target him a lot, right? But for me, the definition of a spread offense is not just a horizontal spread by alignment. The definition of a spread offense is an offense that shares the football, spreads the football around multiple guys. And if I was to say there's the one thing that Lamar needs to improve on, is that right there, is spreading the ball around among multiple guys when they're all healthy. We know what Likely did when Andrews went out, right? And I think part of that, to be honest with you, is the offense, the way it's run, the way it's administered, and the structure of it. Having those 4 or 5 plays per game that are designed to get the ball to certain people, to me, will just only help Lamar work through reads and progressions when he needs to and move off of Andrews. If Bateman already has 3 catches and we're in the middle of the first quarter and we're in a read play, meaning he's going through his progressions, excuse me, sorry, he's more likely to throw the ball to Bateman or someone else if they've already had catches develop. There's not been enough design plays in this offense. Clearly, we need someone who can come in and do that. Obviously, we got to attack to the backside X a lot. It was certain games we did that to Demarcus Robinson. If we had Rashad Bateman healthy, we know that we would be attacking the backside when you're getting that man-to-man coverage. Now, in this case, I think he's up against a rookie Zion McCollum, super athletic guy. I really liked him in the draft. But, certainly a guy that we took advantage of in the pass game, even though he's very physical. All right, I think we have guys who can win against man. Definitely 3, Andrews, Likely, and Bateman. Now, Robinson can do so against the proper matchup. Give me 1 second. I would definitely want us to look at a bigger receiver, in the draft early. But we already have guys who can win against man. This guy's a bull. This is his patented move. I think Lamar trusts him. It seemed to me that we wasted too many reps this year not having Isaiah Likely on the field. I don't know about you guys. I would have liked for him to have been on the field more, be put in more situations like this where he could kind of impose his will on people. He's a huge guy. It's always interesting to me to see people try to tackle him. All right, one of the I don't know which one you're talking about, Kente, but same concepts everybody else runs. All right, so one of the quick games concepts that we run is snag flat, and we run it, to the single receiver side to attack backside. So this is the X, Demarcus Robinson. Lamar is willing to go back there when it's Demarcus Robinson. Didn't seem like he was as willing to go backside unless it was Robinson or Andrews. I mean, I understand you're talking about trust. This is a cover 2, so you got a hash dropper here. You got a 1/2 defender safety here. You got a flat corner who's taking this, running back into the flats. So Lamar has read that off the jump. Now, he's probably got some kind of pre-snap read as well, but they're trying to make it look like man. Look at the linebacker. Look at the corner. To me, it looks like they're trying to make it look like man, with maybe someone matching up on the inside, number 3 to the trip side. And Lamar is able to sift out the coverage real quick. And now he's on the backside, reading the corner. Corner sits in the flat. He throws the slant. And for those that talk about accuracy, one of the things that I've seen, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, what you've noticed, one of the things that I think I've seen from Lamar multiple times is he generally throws the ball on the side to protect his receiver from a big hit. I think about a week 1 throw to Isaiah Likely against the Jets that was low. Some people said that it was 3 feet low. I thought it was about 6 inches low. I didn't include the throw in this breakdown. I looked at it last night. Lamar threw it there intentionally. Now, to me, it was still slightly low, but it wasn't 3 feet low. It was 6-8 inches low, so that Likely didn't get hit by the safety. And I think Lamar's doing the same thing here. There is no reason that he can't read man versus zone and make the proper read. That is absolute BS. I forget who the guy was in here earlier that was trying to insinuate something like that. Lamar's done it for years. He's played so many snaps in the 5 years that he's been with us. I would trust him to make those reads. This is another example, if you ask me, of us staying on Andrews too long. It's not Andrews, actually. It's Oliver. We're going to wait too long for this to clear up. And we have Isaiah Likely late on the other side of the field. You would like to see him, move past these reads and get to Likely down here at the bottom. I'll let this run full speed here in a moment so you can see it. It's first down. You'd like to see him be on the bottom side of this read where Isaiah Likely's wide open, obviously, and he, decides to throw it away. How many times do things like that happen in a game? I wouldn't say 3 or 4, in my opinion. I mean, maybe 1 or 2. You guys let me know what you think. There are times where it happens, and I understand it. Now, it could also be a situation where in his headset pre-snap, the coach has told him, hey, such and such will be open, and that might be one of the reasons why quarterbacks stay on a certain read longer. C-Bus Mike, what's up, man? Good morning. Yeah, good point. I agree. That's a great point. That, utilizing Andrews as a receiver isn't a bad option. Because Likely and these guys can do it. This is one of them situations where I love it. I know that other people don't on third and whatever. You're getting the ball to a big athlete, giving him an opportunity to convert this third down. We're unable to do so. 22 makes the tackle. So we're stopped on a third and long. You got to take your medicine. I mean, you guys probably already remember this play. We go for it on the next play. We throw it to Demarcus Robinson, and we end up not getting any points at all, if I remember correct. Exactly, Easy E. The touchdown to Oliver against New England. He kind of threw it on the backside there. All right, I got about probably 8 more plays queued up. Just to move through parts of the season. I don't have these annotated, to be honest with you. I think there's plenty of times where Lamar gets through progressions quick and makes a play. And there's also plenty of times where you get stuff like this, where initially, whatever it looks like to me, he's looking at Oliver. Initially, he's not seeing anyone as open, so he's not going to just force the football in there. And then because of his athleticism and the nature of spreading them horizontally, meaning 3 receivers to the right, 2 receivers to the left, has kind of forced the Bucs into the shell look where the nickel defender is to the field. It really limits what you can do in here because you can only, you could blitz if you want, but then we're going to throw a hot route. The ball would probably be out. In my opinion, the worst thing that teams can do a lot of times is just bring 4 and play man free, or bring 4 and play, some variation of quarters or something like that. In my opinion, Lamar is too good at not making the initial mistake. Now, I will show some interceptions here at the end. These plays like this, I think, would be, like the one I just showed you, would be more available if the Ravens were in 2x2 or 3x1 formations consistently. I don't know about you guys, but when you watched the Bengals wildcard game last week, was the Bengals offense in trips or bunch like the whole game? It seemed like they were in trips or bunch the whole time. This is, I think, Prochet over the middle. This is kind of like deep in. It seemed like the Bengals were in trips the whole time. Look at the pressure that's being brought by the Bucs. So Lamar is perfectly capable and has done it hundreds of times. If there's a hot there, he's looking for it when he sees the blitz. All that BS about him, he doesn't go through all the same decision makings as other quarterbacks. That's BS. Here's film of him doing it right now. There's film of him throwing it quick because he sees the blitz. It's right in front of your face. Charles, what's up, man? Thank you. I'm not begging for likes anymore, but thank you. That's a good point, Jeremiah. I don't really have some of those queued up in this list. That's a good point. This is a miss, actually. I guess good timing. Whoever said that. That happens, Kente. Like, you think someone's open on every play? Number one. Number two, the design of certain plays, certain guys aren't supposed to get open. I'm not sure if you're aware of that. This is a miss downfield, obviously, to Demarcus Robinson. You have a DN closing and someone else closing, but you got to make the throw. It's just a little too high. I thought there was probably 3 touchdowns Demarcus Robinson could have had this year, for real, where we missed him. And this was one of them, and there's another one I'm going to show you in a minute. So for whoever it was earlier that was saying I was only showing good plays, like, I'm going to show a little bit of both. But the one thing I love about Lamar, and I've always loved, is he will always keep competing. And even after misses or big situations, he's always trying to make a play. I think with more opportunities like this is going to be Oliver chipping the D end and then working around here to the left side. On a 3rd and 8. Just getting the football out to people is something that Lamar's shown the ability to do. You have a safety coming down who kind of runs into Duvernay and his man. He's shown the ability to do this plenty of times. I don't think there's any reason why he can't do this more often. What do you mean, Omar? Sometimes it's a designed play to get one guy open. Like, you think every receiver is designed to get open on every play? It's impossible. Can't work like that. It's another miss to Demarcus Robinson. This, to me, seems to be one of those routes that we have not utilized as much as other teams do. It looks like a variation of mesh and Robinson from the backside. I mean, in my opinion, if he catches this football, this is probably a touchdown. If it's not a touchdown, we close to the end zone because you've got a guy down here guarding the running back. Again, it's, for those of you that were here earlier, it's bunch right A. So it's a passing formation, but it is 3rd down. So, everyone knows you're passing anyway. Robinson ends up being wide open. We just miss him. And Lamar was pissed off. He laid down because he knew he missed him. We thought we had to settle for a field goal. I thought those were the last 2 weeks when the offense looked somewhat smooth. You guys let me know what you think. It was New Orleans and Tampa Bay in consecutive weeks, I think. After that bye, how does your offense come out looking worse after the bye? Now, this is a 1st and long, so the Panthers are in a little bit of a soft coverage. You can see there's like a shell here. And you got the out here, and then the little post by Robinson. He definitely seems to trust Robinson. I don't know about you guys, regardless of who we draft or maybe sign or whatever, I would like to see Demarcus Robinson come back. The problem is his ball security was so poor and so inconsistent, I'm not sure that the staff will want him back for real. A throw that's a little bit high, but Andrews should catch it, if you ask me. Clearly some kind of mix-up between Lamar and Drake. Our running backs did this, I would say 6 or 8 times this year. I would say 6 or 8 times. No, Omar. I see your comment now. Got it. No, I mean like so like Omar, there's a X here, there's the Y, the Z, and let's say the fullback is going out into the flats. There's plays where it's really designed to just get one of those players open because of the way you're running the routes. Hopefully that makes sense. Some kind of mix-up between Lamar and Drake. It kind of works out in our favor because Drake is able to block. I think that's Brian Burns who played a hell of a game against us, but he doesn't really do enough to hold him off, and Lamar ends up, drifting back a little bit, fading back a little bit as he's throwing, and it ends up being a little bit high, but I think this is a ball that Andrews would tell you he should catch, even though that ball is probably 1.5 foot high is my guess. Small margin for error in the NFL. I didn't think that something didn't look right coming out of the bye. We didn't have smoothness. We didn't have consistency of attack. These things, while I am a fan of QB power read and while I am a fan of QB counter read, I think they're virtually unstoppable in certain situations. To be honest with you, I think they're kind of like our cheat code in a video game, meaning they're kind of like something we go to when nothing else is working. I feel like that should not be the case. And I know that sounds weird to say. I feel like we should go to these things to finish games or finish players or attack certain players, meaning certain players who do certain things on these reads. I feel like it should be strategic. Like you run it once in the second quarter, maybe twice in the third quarter, and then show this same motion in the fourth quarter. And this is one of the things, look, I've been watching a lot of Detroit Lions film lately, and I have seen what I think is evidence of them setting people up, meaning running the same formation a couple of times in a row, maybe even running the same play a couple of times in a row, and then come back to it. But here's the real smart thing that I think I see is the third time that Ben Johnson will show the formation, the third time he'll show the same motion, the offense gets lined up early. So they get lined up, with like 17 seconds left or 15 seconds left, something a little early. And what does that do? They give the defense a chance to identify it, make some call, check into something. Maybe somebody communicates, say, hey, this is QB power read. Run the motion, and then it's some complementary play off of it. And that, to me, is something we didn't do at all out of spread, quote, formations. When we got in these formations, if you couldn't call the play, you didn't watch my videos. Like, if you couldn't call the play with the back and Ricard on the same side and Duvernay motioning left to right, you just didn't watch my videos enough. Like, reality is it was damn near 90-95%. Because we weren't in these formations enough. These weren't what we were trying to do enough of. We were in so many other, 22, 21 personnel. And I like 21 personnel, for real. I think our 21 personnel was effective. But I think there was too many times where you knew the play based on who the player was motioning. So I just showed you 2 plays in a row. Ricard to our right in the slot. Now, in this case, the back is on the opposite side. But this motion by Likely, it might sift out the coverage. Remember the motion by Prochet against, I think, the Steelers? I think it was the Steelers late in a game. We're not fooling anybody. They know the only player we handed off to ever is Duve. You guys know what I mean? So the defenses will identify that. Defenses will know. In my opinion, the Ravens were in these formations so infrequently compared to pistol heavy sets that we were predictable because we were there so infrequently. I'm not saying that well, I don't think, but balanced spread, Kente. Yeah, exactly. I don't know, Omar, for your question, would he be effective in a spread all the time? I mean, these plays are designed to kind of influence you to think that. I feel like when he gets off coverage like this, he takes advantage of it short. The one thing that we didn't do, and I think it was Jeremiah or someone earlier, we didn't attack downfield enough. That's just for real. We didn't attack downfield enough. In the last 2 games against the Bengals, we seemed to attack downfield more. Now, I also think that's due to the fact that that they don't have a Woozy. I mean, they're a different team when a Woozy's in there, for real. We're going to look at some interceptions here at the end. And look, these are not good, but every quarterback throws interceptions. I think this year, Lamar's like 16 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. And one thing I would say to him if I was, a person that he listened to ever, is I would say, don't mess up your stats like this. Yet you got to take, Jeremiah just said it, you got to take your shots. But don't mess up your stats like this. This is 4th quarter on a 3rd and 15. In my opinion, this is needless. Like, we didn't need this completion. Now, so for me, it's a poor decision first. And it's also a very poor throw. This ball's got to be thrown, up the sideline to give Robinson a chance to go get it outside of the safety. That would be one thing I would say. And I've heard people say this to quarterbacks before. It's like, don't mess up your stats like that. We're winning. In this case, I think it's 24-3 or 24-6. I might be wrong. Yeah, there's the score up there. It's 24-3. 2 minutes and 40 seconds left. Adding another interception onto your stat line for no reason, for me, is pointless. Bad decision, bad throw, obviously bad execution. Same play, end zone angle. Look, let me know what you guys think. I guess I was trying to convince people that, yes, clearly Lamar could be effective in a spread offense. Clearly he could be. You got to avoid situations like this. You got to avoid, bad decisions and then underthrown balls. I think this one's just a poorly thrown ball to, I think it's Bateman. And it's a great play by Jones, the corner. That ball's thrown way out in front, obviously. Lamar, I think, is trying to change his arm angle. To me, it looks like he's thinking he needs to throw it sidearm. And I think that's why this ball, sails on him, or we used to say it rolled on him. Meaning it rolled out of his hand wrong because he was throwing it sidearm. If Lamar throws this ball from more of an upward trajectory, that 3/4 almost trajectory, I think this ball was probably, here where Bateman can catch it. As it is, it's, thrown really far out in front of him, obviously. Poor throw. Great play by, I think that's one of the Jones guys. They got like 3 guys on their team named Jones. This one's a batted ball. Again, I think this might be sidearm. It's not sidearm. A little bit of a low trajectory. This one hurt. I think this was third quarter. You guys let me know what you think. I think all these are bad throws. I'm not one of those that says like I think the receiver wasn't running. Like he's open, he's got him beat. I think Robinson slowed down because the ball was underthrown. So, for those of you that think, Lamar can't do this, he can't do that, there you are. You got some film here at the end of us talking about and showing, bad decisions. And I guess we'll find out in the future because we're not going to hire someone who's going to be in 22 personnel. Now, I'll say something else that probably most of you would disagree with. I don't think what the offense ended up being in 2022 is what the intention was at the beginning of the season. I don't. I think we were going to be in more 21 personnel, for real, because we thought we had 2 receivers that we could use or, slide Andrews out there at receiver from a 22 personnel grouping. I don't think we were meant to be in all of that 22 personnel stuff, for real. I think we were meant to have a little bit more athletes on the field, but it didn't work out that way. Let me know what you think, in the comments. I appreciate you guys joining in, man. I'll try to do this every Saturday morning, as long as it's not like, something else going on sports-wise, to hopefully get Ravens fans some content on a Saturday morning. Appreciate you guys' time, man. If you have ideas for a stream or ideas for a video, please let me know. This week I was unable to really produce a lot other than like YouTube Shorts. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of them. YouTube Shorts is like a 30-second or 1-minute video. Try to make them, just get your views up. You don't really make any revenue or money off of it. It's just to get views and maybe some subscribers. So if you haven't checked those out, check them out. And let me know again if you have any video ideas. Once I post this stream up here in a moment, if you have any video ideas, let me know in the comment section. And let me know if you agree with, my general tone here, which is, yes, Lamar Jackson can succeed in a spread offense. But I left it blank intentionally because I think there's multiple different options. Look, I think it's possible they hire someone who's going to run a Kubiak-style offense. I think it's possible. Do I think it's likely? No, I don't. I don't know about you guys. I don't think we're going to be as under center as much as I would like us to be, for real. I'd like us to be under center a little more, kind of protect Lamar a little better. I always felt like under center the ball can be hidden more versus the shotgun. The ball is, kind of there for people to see, especially the pistol. The pistol is so limiting. For me, if we move away from the pistol, that would be step number 1. I'm not sure how you could justify being in the pistol as much as we have been recently with the lack of variability, the lack of being multiple out of the pistol. So let me know what you guys think of those thoughts. I mean, easy, who wouldn't love a San Francisco-style offense? For real, man. For real. Yep, T-Dog, absolutely. Got to have more options, keep the defense on their toes, run more plays out of the same formation so that you are, less predictable, obviously. Yeah, Kente, I have never gone back and watched his college offense for real. I think I was coaching during that time, so I didn't have the time to watch. I didn't have the time to watch a lot of it, to be honest with you. When I coached, I didn't watch the NFL or college. I refused to. Elliot, that doesn't happen that often, so I'm not even going to answer that. Yep, pay the bills. I like that. Yep. Agreed. It's the same concept, pay the bills. You know that. Totally. Same concept. Putting the DN in conflict and, forcing him to make a decision. Like we saw on that play with Hubbard. Hubbard made his decision immediately, ran down the line, got in the way. Yep. Absolutely, Kente. Pistol read kind of makes him a target. Yeah, look at what TJ Watt does. I do have a video of pistol read stuff probably an 8-10 minute video that I'll try to post up maybe this week that kind of goes along those lines, Kente. So you kind of stole my thunder there, in that it kind of presents him as a target for people to attack and maybe force the football out of his hands. Deuce, what's up, man? Thank you for joining, man. I know you've been watching for a long time. I'm not sure how to do that for real. I know all 22 people can go back to like 2016, but I'm not sure about that far back. Maybe I guess that'd be 1 year, right? Two. What's up, Jabari? Yeah, man. Dude, I think they'll definitely be moving in a different direction. There's no doubt. Once they decide to pay Lamar whatever they're going to pay him, they're not going to be returning to this type of offense. But again, to be nuanced, I don't think that what the offense ended up being in 2022 is what it was intended to be at the beginning of the season. I just don't. I don't think that was their original overriding plan, but it's certainly what happened. All right, I appreciate you guys' time. I'm going to post a stream up if you would. If you liked it, just consider commenting once I post a stream up here in about 5 minutes. Thank you for you guys' time. If you got any ideas for a stream for next weekend, next Saturday morning, please let me know.